just for everybody that's out in the world today. We're talking with Ren Caldwell. He's one of the best agents that you can find in the Oklahoma City area, correct?
That's right. If not the best, I don't know. The polls aren't
There
out
you
yet
go.
this year, but
So we have to hold that disclaimer. However, I would tell you if there's anybody that you want to call to get things done, you need to call Ren. So today, here's our goal. We just want to be able to talk with you, learn a little bit about your business, your background, anything that you want to tell everybody about who you are, what you do, and how you operate. So that way we can let people know just what they can expect and how to get in touch with you. Sound fair?
absolutely, I'm looking forward
All
to it.
right, perfect, man. So let's start with how long have you been a realtor?
I am closing in on year 6 now. Let's see. Yeah, in December it will be six years. I've been doing this craziness in some form or fashion. I've probably only done it full time in that all those 6 years for about 6 months,
So the last 6 months
where it
you've
was
been
the
full
only thing
time?
I was doing. No, it was a period of 3 different 2 month periods
Okay.
over the last 6 years. When I first got started, I was like, I'll just do this full time. I'll jump straight in and get it going. And of course, knowing nothing, those first 2 months were a lot of spinning tires and trying to figure out what the heck a business even is, let alone how to run one and how to make it all happen by myself. So, um, then 2 years after that, I did it in between a couple gigs, full time by itself, and had a really nice period. But realized that wasn't going to work either, as far as being the only thing. Uh, I've got a wife and 2 children, and she has very specific ideas about how a business is run day to day. And turns out I was not nailing those
Huh.
specific ideas. The metrics were not
Yeah,
there.
I hear you, man. So
So
right now you're doing real estate and something else. So currently, what are you doing as including real estate?
yes, I've got a couple listings going right now, and working with a few buyers, and trying to get that situated. I've just gotten my brokerage license, so I'm now a broker here in Oklahoma, and working on getting my team set up with my current broker and franchising one of his brokerages out here, out east, on the other side of the Oklahoma City metro, where I live, opposite him, essentially. While I'm doing that, I work in a kitchen as a
Oh,
cook.
nice.
Yeah, something that I guess has been 2 or 3 years ago. My wife and I sat down and realized we were spending too much money on eating out. It's like one of us is going to have to learn how to cook, and I want to be able to eat what it is that's being made. So I guess it's going to be me.
We won't. We'll edit
And
that one
so,
out. He's just kidding.
okay,
He's
good, good,
joking.
good. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I love you, honey. Uh, but over the course of those 3 years, I've really been putting quite a bit of time into the kitchen here at the house. And then I was working for my previous broker inside the office doing, well, everything. I mean, just if it needed to be done, I was there with a smile on, making it happen kind of thing. A lot of IT software development type stuff, getting the brokerage ready for that forefront of technology that's kind of coming, and that you can tell the industry's kind of shifting from one way of doing business to another. So I was trying to get us all started on that. Uh, did a ton with that. Really got it to where I thought the my broker at the time wanted to see it going, and came in, and one day it was, well, we no longer really have a position for you here, so best of luck. But you, of course, you can still be an agent at the brokerage. Just go ahead and give us that commission percentage. And so, okay, uh, I respect that, but probably gonna search out some options here, see what I can find on the horizon. So
Yeah, for sure.
after that, my wife had gotten used to me being gone during the day and collecting a paycheck instead of making my own business and doing the real estate thing. So she said, "Well, while you're doing this real estate full time, why don't you just look for something else, and we can go from there." And so I thought it would be funny to apply in restaurants. I have no restaurant experience. I've been cooking in my house, for 3 years. That's the extent of it. And then, of course, my personality in general likability. I thought I'll go on some interviews, and by the time I have something concrete and offer, I'll have a couple more listings, and she'll be able to see that given the time, I can make this real estate thing work. And it turns out by the time I got in there, I don't know if you're aware, there's been some sort of global pandemic happening. I haven't really turned on the news, but restaurants everywhere are hurting for people. And so I essentially arrived that day for my first interview. They threw a hat on me and like, let's this will be your station.
Yeah,
Here we go.
yeah. Well, there's a lot of
So
people in that industry that couldn't work, but then as soon as they open stuff back up, there's a lot of people that I don't know, for whatever reason, they feel like the grass is greener on the unemployment side, so that's on them. So you
that's
probably went into in a good
yeah.
spot. So let's tackle this. So for you, 6 years as a realtor, working and working and working, um, trying to get things moving. So what's the push and the drive for right now? Tell me how you're ultimately real estate is what you want to do, right? It's the full time gig. You know, we're gonna get you
Oh
moving
yeah,
and running,
I
and
love
so
this.
you plan on being like $1 million listing OKC soon, right? Is that how it's gonna roll? There you
That's
go. So
right.
tell me
That's the
what's the
one.
plan? Like, what are you currently doing? What are you currently putting in place? And like, just tell me a little bit about how you guys operate currently as a team, and just give the people out there that are looking to find the best agent know how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I understand that coming in and saying, "Oh yeah, I work in the kitchen. Oh, I do IT stuff over here." And um, I'm not. I'm never out to position myself as the end all be all perfect source of all knowledge when it comes to real estate. I'm very much an internal student. I know a lot of stuff, and I am good at this job. But nobody wants to hang out with the guy that's always talking about how good he is at his job and how much stuff he
Sure,
knows. So I err on the side of being more casual and having trying to have some more fun with it versus the stuffy, uptight, always talking brokerage stuff. So I definitely understand situations like this. You come on and you talk about how great you are and how much everybody wants to work with you and everything like that. Um, I try to be myself all the time. And if people don't want to, they see this and they're like, this guy's joking around too much. I'm never going to work with that guy. That's totally fine with me. Honestly, if you're not willing to joke around with me, don't give me a
sure, no,
call.
absolutely, I
Because
got
I,
you.
if I,
That's the key here, man. The deal is, I want people to know who you are. I don't want you to pretend to be something that you're not. So that's what I mean. Like, so if someone was to work with you, and you were going to help them buy or sell a house or however that would work, tell me how it works. What's the expectation that people can come in the door knowing that they can expect from you?
yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to make sure that you don't think I'm out here making light of this whole thing. I really appreciate you taking the time to have
Always,
me on
man.
here, and I know that you're talking about I'm the if you're suggesting somebody in Oklahoma, it's going to be Ren, and then I get in here and I'm making jokes about getting being in the kitchen and doing all this. I want you to know,
No, man. Look, people
everybody,
need to
I
understand that everybody in this world right now, you know, especially you got a wife, you got two young kids, you've got to make things happen, right? You're building and growing a business, so that right there, in itself, the fact that you have been doing it for about 6 years and you've had to find things to do in between because not only have you had a pandemic hit, but then you know the real estate market is up and down all the time, you know, and a lot of times people watch TV, they see these agents that are doing all these great and awesome things, but what they don't realize is those people were just like you when they started. You have to start from somewhere. You have to build your brand and build your business. And so the way to do that is to do things like this, right? I as well. I'm not followed by 1 million people. I'm not followed by probably 100 people. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to
yet.
do is give anybody and everybody that which we're going to get into in a little bit, anybody and everybody that wants to help veterans, right? Because that's what I am. I was in the Navy for 22 years, and now I do a lot of things that equal helping veterans. Whatever I can do to do that, then I run out and do it. So I'm just like you, man. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how great I am at the things that I do either. But I do feel like it's important for us to get to the point where we say, hey, look, if you want to do these things, this is what I can do for you. And it's okay to brag, right? It's okay to brag. You have to. Sometimes you got to let people know how great you are. I don't like to do that either.
Sometimes you
It's
gotta let them know.
really hard for me to do that. However, I enjoy just talking to people like we're doing right now. It just, just makes it for an enjoyable experience for people to see that person that you're talking to when they're comfortable, right? Which is the other reason, I like to do it in this platform, in this format, because you can be where you want to be, which is your comfortable place. Obviously, this is where mine is, right? Right in my office at home, and this is where quote unquote the magic happens. But I think it's admirable
That's right.
that you're doing all the things that you need to do, right? You're driven by something different than money, right? Obviously, the drive for you is number one, taking care of your family, which is why we need to build and grow to get to the real estate area, right? Cooking and all that is great. Being in the kitchen, having a job, it's all amazing stuff. However, uh, to build what you want to build and to be what you want to be and to attain that dream, that's the ultimate goal, right? And that's what I want to help you do. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're partnering on other things. We're gonna do what we can to help you.
Yeah. Right now, I mentioned I got my brokerage license. It was in July. So I bought this new house, my wonderful new home, and then we spent 2 days with the U-Haul, taking everything we've got, moving it 3 miles down the road, and just essentially laying it in the garage because we hadn't even closed yet, putting it all in the garage, and then sleeping on the floor at my wife's parents' house up the road. Uh, so we did that for 2 days. Everything we own is in the garage. We're sleeping on the floor, and I wake up because it's my test is that morning at 8 a.m. and I gotta be across the. So I've just spent these last 2 days picking up everything we own, moving it, and then we get there, and it's like, okay, what? When was I supposed to be studying for this? I definitely at some point remember being in a class about this. What did I learn? Here we go. Went and took it and passed it on that first try and said, "Man, I probably got lucky on that one. That one we'll take. We'll count that one as lucky, but we take those. We
For
take it and we
sure.
run."
Well, I mean, you got to
So
think about it. If you like what you do, and like you said, you know a lot of stuff, man. If you like what you do and you're passionate about your job, and here's what I know of realtors that really put the effort in to do a good job every day and learn and constantly grow and develop in their craft. That's why you passed. You didn't need to study. You already know. You know what you're doing. Like it's important to you to understand how these things work. So it wasn't as much luck, I don't think, as it was just the professionalism that you carry in your constant work of real estate is probably what got you there. That's why you didn't need to study. You already
yeah,
know what you're doing. Like it's important to you to understand how it works. So you know it wasn't lucky.
right.
You can just tell them like it's because I care about what I do. That's what I would say anyway. That's me. That's where I would brag. It'd be like I
The
just know what I know.
I just know
Yeah,
my stuff. So you know that one, and it comes down to those every experience is gonna is leave some sort of indelible mark that I always. The way that my mind works, I can come back to a specific situation and say, "Oh, yes, I remember that happened," to Larry down the street. And then after that, it played out in this way. Oh, that must mean it's somewhere in this aspect. That's where we're gonna find our answer. Let's go down that rabbit hole, see what we can do. So that was in July. It's now halfway through October, and that was right in. I think I switched from that job at my brokerage in the end of June. So it was like, oh, okay, well, I'm getting my brokerage license, or oh man, yeah, it was right after. I think it was a week or two after I had come back to work in the office because I'd already worked in the office before that. Left for a year, still working as an agent the whole time. Came back into the office, worked there for 3 to 6 months. I don't even remember at this point, and then was let go from that. Got my brokerage license like that next week because I'd been studying that whole time because I was going to become the managing broker there. My plan was to get my brokerage license, come in and kind of train up under that current broker, manage that, and let him move on to bigger and better things. And in that course, somehow we got discombobulated, and this is what's going on now. But since then, I switched brokerages. I'm starting up my team. I'm working with my current broker, Chuck Gooch, who is a veteran. He was in the Army. He he and I are working together to put together a franchise for his. It's not a Remax or Keller Williams or anything like that, um, but he is interested in helping me get started with my own using his business model, which we do a monthly uh, brokerage fee instead of a commission split. So where I was, I had 30% of every commission that I earned was going back to the brokerage for operating
Yeah. So
expenses,
tell me, like, so
which
what's the name of the brokerage
typical.
that you're at now? Who you working with?
I'm with Epic Real
Okay.
Estate.
And so for those guys, you're coming in, you're going to start a, obviously like an office underneath them in another part of the city. So I know that you've said
Right.
today a couple times that you worked at places and places let you go. It's a little bit different than Texas. In Texas, where I'm at and what I'm familiar with, right? Agents just move and change whenever they want. Not hardly ever let go. Is there? So what's the state of the Oklahoma market where it's affecting brokers to have to let people go, right? Because at the end of the day, you're an independent contractor, and the fact
Right.
that you've gotten a brokerage license and passed that test 100% means that you've never done anything to compromise the ethics or the code of ethics for real estate. So is the market an issue? Are they having problems just like other sectors in Oklahoma City, or like what's the driving factor that keeps these people having to let agents go?
So I was working inside the brokerage as a W 2
Oh, okay.
employee.
So an actual
I
employee
was
of
doing
the
software
company. Okay.
development, right? Developing the softwares, the CRMs, and everything like that. We had a few different programs we were implementing. Originally, the first time that I was working for him up there, I was an outside sales agent essentially. So I was talking to for sale by owners and things like that, and I got nasty on the phones, not like rude, but I was good. I was quite good on the phones because it was what I was doing, 7 hours a day, 5 days a week, just talking to for sale by owners. And then we got to the point where I realized I was an agent at that time and I was setting the appointments for him. And I got to the point where I said, I'm setting these appointments and I know for a fact, because I also work your schedule, that you're not going on all of them. I'm a licensed agent. I'm got a relationship with these people. If you can't make it, just let me go. I realize I can't be in there making calls at that time, but we're making the calls to get the listings. If we're not going on the listing appointments, why am I making calls? And that created a whole kerfuffle. And that was the original time that I said, you know what? It's probably best if I go and explore some other opportunities. Um, Jumped into a totally different industry at that point, but I was still an agent at the brokerage. I was still the 1099 agent. And then after I came back, I was back in the office working, doing software development. Um, Still an agent there, still working on getting my managing brokerage license so that I could take over there. And then I got let go from that software development position. Well, I don't know that I got let go so much as he decided it no longer exists.
So yeah, I
The
think
entire
that's
position
the
itself,
I
just
so in that form and fashion, I know a few people all over the place that they work in a brokerage. The brokerage is paying them money. Here's the reality: the state of the market is shifting. People, I hope you guys all understand that. Gone are the days where you're going to get 500 offers on your home. At least in Houston, anyway. I'm sure it might be the same there where you guys are at. I mean, people are not pushing the panic button to purchase homes anymore. So, the reality is you're probably not getting the same volume coming in. And some of these brokers probably hired a lot of people thinking that it was going to continue. And sometimes it doesn't. The good news is you still have the license to go do it on your own. So, what I would tell you, just in hearing a small snippet of your story, stop relying on other people, brother. Go do what you do. That is going to take you a lot higher and further because the fact that you've set appointments on the telephone was for sale by owners. Public information, by the way. You can get that anywhere. You don't have to pay for it. You've gone on those appointments. You've talked to those people. I think that if you take all the tools and the skills that you've learned in other places and you apply that to your current business, right, and teach your new agents coming in how to do those things, I think that you're going to see yourself grow and become exponentially more successful, which you're going to wind up telling the restaurant, hey, I love you guys. I just don't have time for you. I can't do it. And that's part of the growth part of it, right? I think a big part of that sometimes is that a lot of agents out there really want to do well, right? They want to grow, they want to become just a good agent. They don't want to be, well, I don't know, half and half. People want to be billionaires, and people just want to be really good agents, right? And
Right.
in either case that you're looking at, right? A lot of times, especially in this thing that we were just talking about, by the way, there was a pandemic for a bit. Uh,
Yeah, I don't
People,
know if you.
because of what you would see on the news, the interest rates are the lowest they've ever been. By the way, they're still low, and they're very competitive. So people still have buying power. Owners in the very beginning of the pandemic were really nervous about, should I list the home? I'm not sure if I want people walking through and being in here and touching things and all that stuff, right? So, um,
Right.
what we kind of look at is they saw that on the news. People decided they wanted to get their license because they figured, like most agents before them, figured, I'm just going to get this license. I'm going to put my sign in the yard. I'm going to put my picture on Facebook. People are going to call me and I'm going to make tons of money. Well, what happened
And it'll never
is
end.
all those people are in the real estate industry now. Some of those people got lucky and did pretty good, but other people realized very fast, even though we were in this pandemic driven push, because people wanted to live in their own home. They didn't want to walk out of an apartment anymore. They didn't want to be super close to other people. They wanted their space. They wanted their family to be kind of spread out. Well, what happened is they found out real quick that those agents that were experienced, the agents that had teams, the agents that had built already, the agents that had systems and foundations in place were the ones getting all the business. And they were trying to figure out, well, I got my license. It still requires a lot of work. You got to build relationships, and that's what was key for what I heard you say earlier. Is like you just like to talk to people. You like to be who you are. You like to be loose. You like to be around, and that may not pick up the business immediately right now, but all it takes is one or two people for you to help, for them to see that you're going to give them a process that's stress free. It's going to be fun to purchase a home. It's not going to be a nightmare, because I think a lot of people right now are seeing that as well. A ton of agents, because there's so many people looking to purchase. Even agents that aren't very experienced are getting at bats. And when they get that at bat, oh my gosh, they walk to first base. They definitely don't hit a single, double, triple, or a home run, because they just don't understand the process, and so they're jumping into this thing blind, and in a lot of cases they're not getting the training that they need. So I think, going forward, that's why I said earlier, like you should bet on yourself. Do what you know how to do. Teach that to the people coming in, and eventually it's going to grow, because consistency is what wins the game, right? You have to be consistent. You have to do the same thing all the time. Not exactly, but you have to have a structure in place, right? And so knowing that your
Right.
your future business partner at your brokerage that's going to help you build, being a veteran, I'm telling you right now, you're going to have that structure. You're going to have that plan laid out. You're going to have that mentorship. You're going to have that training. You're going to have that support system, right? Because that's what we do. We support each other. We mentor. Even when you don't want it, we're going to do it. And so it's going to help you
Here it
get
comes.
there. And there's going to be a lot of people that fall out of the marketplace, but
Yep.
you gotta keep moving forward, right? Keep marching forward for sure.
Definitely. I think the experience you mentioned, take all the things you learned from your different places and put them into this business. My my work experience is about as diverse as they come. I've done just about everything, just about all over. So uh, I I have this interesting ability to take unique experiences, and like I mentioned with Larry earlier, where you run into a situation in one aspect of your life that you don't realize is going to be helpful to you in another. I try and take everything and constantly just piece it together and try and figure out what even is life, what's happening. and how is there any structure or system to what's going on, and how can you take things from one aspect and use them in a different
Yeah.
place. So, I mean, between the kitchen, warehouse, door to door sales, I was selling DirecTV in Walmart. Not affiliated with Walmart, just not affiliated with DirecTV. Just one of those guys that comes in and bothers you while you're doing something completely unrelated and tries to switch your cable service. I mean, I've run the gamut on different things that a person can do, and I've always been looking for that one thing where it hits all the buttons. I get to help the people that need help. I get to be that informational source where if somebody has some questions about something they want to do and just doesn't have all the pieces. They know that there's something out there for them, um, but they haven't found, or if they have found somebody that knows about it, they're not somebody that they're really willing to approach about. We've all met those people that have the information that we want, and it's like, oh, if I have to have a conversation with that guy, I'd rather just not do it. It's like, it's all you've ever wanted in your life. It's like, yeah, that's fine.
No, yeah, 100%.
I'm
I
willing to
think
put that off.
so that's just part of how it works, right? So I think that's a good point. You've always, like you just said, I've been looking for something that, you're always looking for the next thing. You're always looking for the one thing you can do. And when you said that sentence, how do you read a lot? You read a lot of books? Do you read, real estate books or leadership books or anything like that? Have you
Oh
ever
yeah,
read the book "The One Thing," written by I think Gary Keller, out of Keller Williams? Have you read that book?
I have not read the one thing. No, I have heard
I
of it.
would I would highly recommend that as a
I
read,
think it's
man.
been.
For someone like you that's done a whole bunch of different things, and you're a young guy, so you have the energy of a workhorse. So you're going to do whatever you got to do to make it happen. What happens a lot of times because of your energy and everything that you can do, like you can do anything, right? Like you have that energy, you have that work power. Obviously, if you're working in a kitchen for hours in a day and still have the energy to do real estate and then somehow find a way to still spend time with your family, there's no time left. So I think pick up that book. Matter of fact, you don't need to pick the book up. I'm going to send the book to you and I want you to read it
I'll
just
look
to
at it.
just to take a look at it and see what see what's entailed in there. Take away what you can that's good from it, and apply that, because for you, I think all you need is just that focus, and that's another segue into, so the broker you have, that he was in the army, right? And now he does real
Yep.
estate. So is that where the connection for you to work with veterans came in, or had you had that in some other, I don't know, in some other life experience? Do you have any military in your family? Did you serve personally?
I have not served personally. My father is a veteran who's in the Air Force. His dad was military police. Uh, he married my grandmother, obviously, who is a first generation immigrant from Korea. My dad's mother is a first generation immigrant from England, who he met while he was in the Air Force serving abroad as
Okay.
well. So, a massive impact on my life, the military for sure. My grandpa, my mom's dad, after he retired from the Air Force, worked on base. I live in Oklahoma City. Obviously, Tinker Air Force Base is one of the largest maintenance facilities in the nation, and it's 3 miles down the road from my house. I live under the flight path. Not that I have any choice. Everybody in
It's just a
Oklahoma lives under
natural
the
alarm
flight path
clock,
here.
dude.
That's right.
They're up
We make it
early.
happen. So, oh, it's
You
time
need
to
to be up
go.
early too.
That's right. Time to. It's freedom o'clock. Here we go. But he drove the bus on base after he
Okay.
retired. So I would go and I would just after school I would go and I would just ride along on the bus with him and just meet all kinds of people and hear stories that you're not hearing anywhere else on the base bus just driving the BX. So um, no personal experience of mine outside of just the people in my life who've shaped me into the man that I am.
Oh yeah,
So
no, and
my
I just think it's important for everybody to know that. See, I knew that from you from the last time we had kind of talked. I knew that you had a lot of military background in your family. It's just very important, and a lot of people, especially real estate agents, don't understand You don't ever have to have served to relate to a veteran or anything like that. The veteran real estate market is a very niche market, and the reason that is there's a ton of real estate agents out in the world that say, "Oh, I love my veterans. I want to help my veterans." And when it comes to the point and the opportunity, in some cases, because there's a ton of agents out there doing the right thing, but there's a very few that always ruin it for the bunch, that they're not
Yep.
out to help the veteran. The reality is they know the veteran is probably the safest contract that they can do because they have a guaranteed job. They're not going to get fired tomorrow. They're in the military, right? So when they get that opportunity to help a veteran, there's a lot of cases where they do not. And it's sad to say that that happens, but unfortunately it does. But it's good that veterans know that whoever you're working with has a familiarity with the military because you understand, right? You were a kid. You went to go ride the bus and watch your dad work after he was in the military, so you can kind of see the just the gravitational pull that the military community has. Like we like to continue to work with people that understand us, even when we get out.
Right.
So it's good to for just people to know that you have that background, right? And it's good for them to know that you understand a lot of what they're going to be talking to you about. It's also really good to know that you're really, really close to Tinker Air Force Base. So anybody on Tinker Air Force Base
Really
that hears
close.
and sees, we've got someone that is a certified VALoan.org agent. He's taken the class through a program offered by Mutual of Omaha Mortgage to understand how to navigate the process of a VA loan. Like you've taken that course, you understand how that works, so that you're prepared to let people know how they can use their benefits. And so that's just it's a great thing. Um, so what other avenues? So the military background in your family. Have you had the opportunity to help a lot of veterans in the Oklahoma City area?
I have not. I have never actually closed a deal with a veteran. I have had a few. I won't say I haven't helped anybody. I've had a few different families that have been coming in. I worked at the YMCA as a greeter. I would open the doors at 4 in the morning for the elderly folks to go in and get their swim on, take their 4 laps, and then go do whatever it is
Yeah,
they do
drink coffee and talk
in the
trash. That's
mornings.
what they're there to do, man.
That's mostly the trash talking. Yeah, that's fun. You're sitting by the front desk, you get the
And
good
they're only
stuff too.
drinking coffee because it's a little too early to have that shot of bourbon.
That's right. Just once they leave the Y, though, it's in a
Oh, for
bag. It's
sure.
ready
It's in
to
the
it's
paper
ready to
bag.
go.
They're carrying it out like, oh no, this is my water.
That's
Like you're
right.
lying, dude.
That's right. Yeah, it's jangling. It's like no, they do
Yeah,
that
yeah,
now.
yeah.
So had the had that and had a an interesting opportunity. That was when I was still going through the course to get my real estate license because I had just come back from Stillwater, Oklahoma State University, and like,
Mm.
okay, now what do we do? And my wife graduated early. I did not. So it said, okay, so what do
So
we do? And we bought our
you
first house.
enjoyed the rigors of Stillwater. I only
Oh,
know that
yes.
because my cousin went to Oklahoma State as well. She played softball there,
Go
and
Pokes.
my
Excellent.
son went up there. My son's 18. He's graduating high school this year. He visited and has been accepted to Oklahoma State.
Oh,
But we're waiting on a couple of
fabulous.
other colleges he's looking at. But he went up there to do the visit, and my wife was like, "Your cousin ain't lying. If you go to Stillwater, you go to college and you hang out at college. That's it.
Yes,
That's it."
sir.
But she said it was
Yes,
fun. My son
sir.
had a
There
good time. They
is.
went to I think the Cowgirls were in the college softball World Series at that point. I think it was a super regional that they went to,
Nice.
so they got to go check that out.
Very good. Very good. Yes, there is not a, for those unfamiliar with the Stillwater, America, it's 30 miles northeast of Oklahoma City and about 30 miles southwest of Tulsa, the two major metropolitan areas in Oklahoma. And I mean, it is in between four cow fields. And that's not there is
So
nothing,
is it true?
nothing at all that's not Oklahoma State.
I got to get this verified. She's related to me, so I trust what she's telling me, but I got to get it verified. Is it true that tornadoes always take a left at the cross? She said that
That's
there's like a
yes.
cross that you can go to the right or you can go to the left. If you go right, you're going to Oklahoma
Hmm.
State, but that's God's country, so tornadoes always hang a left.
So they don't, yeah, they don't worry about it. They got to go the other way.
No
That
way,
I mean,
dude.
yes, historically, you can look back and you can see the path of. I don't know if they're really, I should have taken that left at Albuquerque, but there's some sort of magic
Yeah,
there
that's what
because
she's like right there.
it's its own little oasis.
Yeah. So she, I mean,
That's the spot.
her license plate is Go Pokes. Like she's got flags in front of her in Texas. She has Oklahoma State flags hanging right next
Mm.
to the Texas flag, right? So it's uh, it's definitely good to see. And she, man, I'm telling you, like every time she sees my son. So when have you accepted that? Have you accepted that
you
invitation
going
yet?
to you going to Oklahoma?
Yeah.
They're the alma mater, loyal and true. It's no joke. Once you're in it, you kind of see it's a special
Yeah.
place. There are certainly it's certainly not for everybody. There are the people. I've lived in Oklahoma my whole life. Choctaw is a very rural area as well, so it's not. My wife went to school for animal science. I mean, there's some agricultural influences still. Quite a few. If you're not used to the cowboy boots and the cowboy hats, then you're gonna find yourself a little out of water. But there's also everything that's not that. They're very for a rural town out in the middle of nowhere in Oklahoma. There's a lot of progressiveness that I think people aren't ready for or aren't expecting. It's like University of Texas. You think, oh well, I mean, it's in Texas, but Austin is not really Texas, is it? It's not. It's kind of its own beast. I think Stillwater is much the same way. I also heard a statistic. This one I'm not 100% sure that it's true, but 1% of all beer consumption in the United States of America takes place in
I've
Stillwater,
heard that
America.
too, but that's only like 9 months out of the year.
1%. Oh man, when it's not
The
school
three
time,
months, the three
there
months that it's an abandoned ghost town is when everybody
yeah,
takes a
six
break from
people
the
live there.
drinking. But yeah, I've heard it was higher than 1% actually.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe we've certainly been working on it. And they started allowing it at baseball games. So I'm thinking that number's
Oh, for sure.
only headed
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. No, it was.
But yeah, my wife and I went there. We went to high school together, my wife and I, and got both accepted into Oklahoma State, and decided that we would go together, do the whole thing. We got into our new experiences simultaneously, and we're both like, "Oh my gosh, this is life's a crazy thing. There's a lot that you can do. As it turns out, you can wake up every day and do something new if you wanted to, and never run out of stuff." So through all that, we stayed together, and we got a lot stronger, and we've made something pretty unique and exciting here for ourselves out and back in Choctaw now. So we moved. She graduated early. We moved to Del City, and this was before I got my real estate license. She was like, "Where are we going to move? What are we going to do?" And I said, "I'm not renting a house. There's no way you can convince me that it's a good use of our money. There's no way that you can, even if we're going to live there for 6 months, it just doesn't make sense to me." And this was before I had my license, before I'd really done any of the real estate math that goes along with understanding how the investment works and what's going on with it. But at the time, I don't know why I was so passionate. I don't know where I had was getting this information, but it had really stuck with me. And we ended up doing the math and figuring out that we could get our starter home and live there and be happy for. I think we ended up living in our first house for two and a half, 3 years in Del City, even closer to Tinker on the other side. Del City, Midwest City, Choctaw are three cities kind of close to each other to the southeast of Oklahoma City that I've lived in Midwest City and Choctaw my whole life. My parents moved at that point from the house that I grew up in to Nashville, Tennessee, out of nowhere. Just my mom was working in Houston. Actually, she was still living in Oklahoma and driving to Houston to work while I was in
God
college.
bless her.
Yeah, and then she would stay
It's a
there
long
for
drive,
yeah.
man.
She's a beast. She is an absolute animal when it comes to. She's passionate about her work. I mean to say she can make it happen. And they realized after 9 months of doing that, that's not sustainable. And they said, okay, that's fine. And she said that there's no way I'm moving to Houston. They said, great, we're opening a new place in Nashville. You can go run that. She went, um, well, that's kind of a whole different conversation. But over the course of, they made it happen. And so my wife and I actually bought the house that I grew up in, my parents' old house. And we lived there for 4 years, or I don't know. I'm just saying all these numbers at this point. I have no idea how long we were in any of these houses. I could go back and do the math probably, but um, and we eventually, just this year in July, sold that one with the market going crazy. I knew so many people that were like, "I we got to have a house, but we can't find anything. What's going on?" And we had been under contract in February of 2020, so a hold or no, the end of 2019, where interest rates were starting to drop and they were getting towards that historic low, but they weren't quite there. And we couldn't decide, is it going to keep going this? Are we trending this way, or is it about to shift and we're going the opposite? So we found this beautiful house further east that we were under contract for. It ended up not working out. We couldn't get our house sold for what we wanted to sell it for. Um, and it was, man, that was a disappointment for a while because we packed everything. We were moving. Everything in our house was in boxes and in the dining room. And then it's, oh, that's not happening. Oh, okay. About a year later, we ended up in this place. That just kind of, one of the agents that was at the brokerage that I was with, setting up all the software, it was her personal house, and she was selling it. And just I didn't realize it was her house. It popped up. My wife is on Zillow all freaking day looking at houses, looking at what's going on. She loves the market. She's not got no interest in being a realtor. She's got no interest in coming to working with me. She just likes looking at houses, what they're for sale for, what the insides look like, and everything like that. I told her over and over, you've got this passion inside of you that's ready to be unleashed
Interior
and
design,
create
bud.
something.
There you
She's like,
go.
and that's
You sell them. You sell them. She
she's
fills them.
right. It can't not work. That's what I've been trying to tell her. She's a medical technologist right now. She runs lab tests for hospitals and doctors and stuff. So it'd be quite a shift, but I'm confident she could do it. She won't listen to me on that one. But we moved into this new house, and it has been a whirlwind since then. That was in July. So 4 months ago, I've had two different jobs there, two different brokerages now. Switched from one to a new one. Got my brokerage license, started my team, got my first team member who was actually with me at the old brokerage. We worked in the office together, and she's been waiting to get her license for a while. And we bonded while we were working together. And she said, if you're running it, I want to be with you. I want to see what you're going to create, because the way that we were doing business there and the way that she wants to do business are she has come up with some fabulous ideas already about community involvement. We want to be, the way she phrases it is, she doesn't want it to be realtors that just write big checks and drive big cars. We want to make a difference. We're in our community. She's from Idaho, and she's very small town, community, kind,
She fits
positive
right
person.
in.
She
Yeah,
is
fits right
yes,
in.
a dynamo. People really enjoy conversing with her. And at first, I I can be a little rough around the edges, especially when it comes to the small talk and the small minutia of day to day human being life, where it's just like, oh, how was your weekend? I don't care. I don't care at all how your weekend was. If you have something exciting you want to tell me about, please do. I'd love to share in your excitement. If you're just trying to fill the silence of our working conditions, please don't. I prefer the silence to the, oh, yes, great. Oh, yeah. Oh. Nothing. We're talking about nothing. Let's just not talk. If we're going to talk about nothing, it'd be better to talk about nothing. In And she broke me down, where eventually she's just, every day she's in there, she's so excited. She's just so excited to be alive. The unique experiences of the world are just still fascinating to her, and I need a lot of that in my life, and she's injecting that into the business for sure.
Yeah. Well,
So community engagement is going to be mm,
her first thought probably was, just as we've talked through, right? You're a personal person. You like to talk to people. You like to meet people. You like to work with people. So she probably is going, you need to add that last element of, you know, that's the thing that takes you to the next level in order to like and love people. But that's good, man. You've got to have people that have both personalities when it comes to getting things done or not getting things done. If you're like most real estate agents, a lot of agents will take that disc profile, and most
Mm-hmm.
real estate agents that are successful or going to be successful for the long term are high D's, which a lot of people in the public don't know how to relate to those people because high D's are very to the point, right? To your point, it's not that you don't care about their weekend. You just know that if we have this 15 or 20-minute conversation about going to the mall, then that's 15 or 20 minutes that we're not going to be productive. And so for a high D, they're always like, nope, got to get it done, get it done, get it done, get it done. And so, the best compliment for a high D is a high I, someone that likes to
Right.
ask questions and relate and, do all those things. So it sounds like you guys
Get
got a good
all the
mix. So do you
details.
guys have more agents that are knocking on the door? How many people do you think you're going to have, in the next 6 months? Like what's the goal there to grow the brokerage?
The the ultimate goal is not a numbers aspect. It's not. I would like to have 10 in 6 months. To give you the answer, I'd like to have 10 agents in 6 months, including myself. Um, if I were picking, I'd have 100 because we do the monthly fee. We take no commission split. So to me, if you've got 100 agents that close one deal every 3 months, they're losing money with a traditional commission split because you could come in and pay me $4,200 for the entire year and just be paid up and good to go. Uh, or you sell one $300,000 house, the commission split you're paying on that is close to what you'd pay for the entire year, and that's a single house. You're gonna, unless you're capped out after that, which you're not in Oklahoma. I've interviewed at quite a few brokerages and spoken to just about every broker in Oklahoma over the course of my career. They don't have caps like that. There are a few brokerages now that are switching to 100% split and the different monthly fees and everything like that. But I think the agents that are coming, we've had a few people that are trying to sit down, get some interviews, that are interested in what we're offering as far as just the unique split, because we do, the people that are offering the 100% commission splits are trying to wash their hands of everything. It's like, you take your money, you run your business, go girl kind of thing. Whereas we are still trying to make it very much a team oriented, beneficial place to spend time that also happens to give you the most money that you can make doing your job.
Yeah.
So 10 by 6 months is definitely the goal for now. If we end up with no more, I'm totally fine with that, honestly, because I want to get our system in place where we know it's not going to matter. Oh well, let's get five and kind of figure out where we're going, because what we're doing now is together figuring out where we're going. And if we have a day where 20 people want to sign up, we'll take them, we'll start them up, and we're ready to hit the ground. It's not going to be let's feel this out, let's figure out how we're getting it in place now, so that by the time it's ready to soft launch, get people that are actually in, because she and I, like I mentioned, we worked together before in an office. We were together 8 hours a day, multiple days a week. We have a good feel for one another, the way that we like to do business and the way that we like to work during the day. She was an agent in Idaho, but has not done agency in a while, and I, have been an agent for all this time. So every time it's, she doesn't need to know how to run the business. She needs to know what conversations to have to generate the business,
Sure.
or once the business is generated, how to close it out.
That's everybody,
So
man.
there's
I
some,
don't care how good you are as
yeah,
an
there's some
agent.
technical
Yeah, you can
details.
always, always, always improve that talk track 100%. That's going to be key. So if I'm an agent in the Oklahoma City area and I'm looking for a change and I'm looking for something new and something to get behind, what's the typical agent that you guys are looking to work with? Like who fits your culture the best?
Yes. So we are building a community of agents that are building their community. It's not about coming in and, oh, I closed 3 deals this month. I'm going to come in and get my high fives and I'll see you guys in, 3 more months. It's an involvement. It's a commitment to going out. And even if you're not, I don't want to say not doing your deals, not doing your prospecting, because it's going to be, the agents are always going to be reliant to create their own pipelines and getting, we have different lead generation sources. We're working on quite a few things that are all over the place. Um, it's more about the group of people that we've got than what we do. Where we've got 6 events throughout the year that we're scheduling out for community outreach, whether it's back to school supplies for underserved children in our area that don't have what they need. One Danielle was actually really passionate about is a pumpkin giveaway. She said back in Idaho they had every year around Halloween, that was the one that had the most people involved. It's not a come and buy your pumpkin from us. It's a hey, you've got kids that really want to decorate for Halloween, but you're not in a place in your life where you can go and just you ain't got pumpkin money, which unfortunately is the reality for a lot of people in our country right now. They're working hard
Well,
every
there's a
day
pumpkin
and don't
shortage
have the
too,
stuff that they
so
want to
you
give.
know,
See, there's an everything
yeah.
shortage right now, including human compassion. So we're trying to increase the supply in that regard,
Yeah.
um, and just giving people in our community the idea that yes, traditionally people don't love realtors, whatever their personal reasons. I think it would, if you walked into a group of 10 people, you could find somebody that would raise their hand. If you're like, who's never going to use a realtor ever again? You'll get at least two people that
Yeah, but those people haven't
why
met
can
the
be
right realtor
different,
yet. That's the problem.
Right,
That goes into
right. Their why could be anything.
what we talked about earlier with all these people that go to join real estate and go out and do it. They just don't have a vision or a foundation by which to work from, right? There is something to be said about getting training from starting your business and moving through, but then there's a lot of people, like you're saying, a lot of brokerages in Oklahoma going to 100% split and going, there's your money, go run your business, good luck, figure it out. That is where people
Yeah.
fail. So if you can offer something where you train people, and it's not even this is how you have to do business. It's these are things that you can do to
Hmm.
be successful in business. That's the part that's going to help the real estate agent. And the biggest part of that is, believe it or not, it's not the lead generation. That is not like that's the one thing. And then this is the world according to this guy. And I'm not the best example for anything in the world, but having experience as a realtor for a couple of years, now I'm doing other things. When you look at the lead generation, you just know people automatically. You can call those people, you can talk to them. That is not the thing that people need help with. The thing that people need help with is how do you keep communication open with the client during the process to buy or sell a home? How do you negotiate for them? How do you have communications with the agent on the other end of the deal? How do we keep things open that way so that when we are communicating how things go, like it makes it an easier process for the client because it's easy to meet somebody.
Right.
The thing that you need to learn how to do is how to navigate that. What are the processes that you have in place to manage the transaction? What are the processes you have in place to do the showings or making the offers and things like that? Those are the things that people don't know. And I think that's what starts to frustrate people because I've got all these people, I can help them, but I don't know what to do.
Right.
Yeah, you did really great meeting them.
But how?
And then a lot of times real estate is kind of like other areas as well. If I teach you how to be really good at doing this, then you're going to compete with me, and we can't have that. So if you can find an area, and it sounds
Exactly.
like your team is an area where the one you're building is one where, hey, if you want to be an agent that supports a cause that's bigger than yourself, right? And you want to come in to truly help people, whether they're people in the community, veterans, whoever it is, and you want to be a part of a team that wants to feel like a family atmosphere, right? Then that's the team that you're looking for to come work with you guys. Because not one time did I hear you say, if you want to make a ton of money, come work with us. And that's not even the goal. Like, here's the goal: I don't do anything for a ton of money. I do everything in service of others, right? I try to do that. And it always comes back in the end. If you do good things for good people, then good things are going to happen for you. That's what I believe. It's worked out so
Absolutely.
far. Like, I'm not a millionaire, but I'm happy. I'm doing good things. I got kids in college, and they're doing okay. And
You ate
what's
today,
that?
right? You ate today, right?
Not yet, but I will eventually. I
Not
can
yet.
right now if I
You got
want to. I
plans
got
too.
food, right?
If you
Yeah, like
wanted to,
we're
you
we're
could.
able to live and do what we got to do. So it's just one of those things where as you go forward, for me anyway, I'm excited to see where it goes for you in the future. I'm excited to see the growth of your team, right? This isn't the last time that we're going to do something like this because, like you said, for all of you people in Oklahoma that are looking to purchase a home that work on that place called Tinker Air Force Base, just be on the lookout. Ren's going to offer you a class that teaches you how to use your VA loan benefit. It's going to be tied directly to him and his team. And that means when you reach out to Ren, you're going to know that, hey, I'm talking to someone that knows this process, understand how it works. He has a partnership with people that help to keep that moving forward, whether it's a mortgage provider, it's an insurance provider, uh, inspectors for homes, whoever it is. Like, you're going to be working with a team that will give you the process you're looking for, right? So people in the military know about, proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance, right? The 7 P's in the military. Like, working with Ren's team, you're going to avoid the piss poor performance part of that 7P phrase. You're going to have great service and great performance, right? So for all the people that are out there, I want you to give me the ways that someone can get in touch with you. Phone number, email, do you have a website? Is there a Facebook page, like social media? Like, how can people get in touch with you?
Absolutely. I do have a website. Let's start there. So if you Google Realtor Ren, I will show up. It's me. I think I'm actually wearing this shirt. Doing this one. It might be one of those with the thumbs up. So you can Google Realtor Ren or realtorren.com is my personal website. I run that and system administrate that. All the things that come through, all the forms and contact forms I'm looking at personally. So it's not some outsourced team in Bangladesh trying to help me out and doing all that. It's me in there trying to help people. I do have a Facebook page. You can facebook.com/realtorren. The name of the page is Realtor Ren Caldwell. Instagram, I'm at Realtor Ren. You can just give me a call directly. My cell phone number is 405-812-3636. I've got it on me. So give me a call, shoot me a text. You can email me, realtorren405 at gmail.com. 405 is the
I was
area
about
code
to
here
say, in
in
true
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma City fashion, if you don't put 405 in
That's
anything that
right.
you're doing, how would people not know you're from Oklahoma City?
They
How would
won't.
they not
They
know?
won't. And even if you do put it in, they also won't know
405
because
is
nobody
like
knows what Oklahoma
504,
City
is
is.
like 619, is like 757. You know where all those are coming from, right? Well, if you're in the military,
Just
619 757 for sure.
they're branded
Yeah,
on
for
them. They
sure.
said, no, that's where I'm from. You're
Yeah,
right.
well, Ren,
So
again,
yes, I think
I
is that
appreciate
all of
all
them.
of your time this morning. I appreciate you coming on to kind of